Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Warren's Team Talk. I hope that you're all well, and thanks ever so much for coming to join me today to look at what I've got to offer. Now, today I've got a brand new video for you, and this one is episode 36 of England's most successful football club. And today I'm going to talk to you about Everton. So, in a little while, we're going to make our way up to Merseyside and go and see our friends from Everton and see what they've got to say for themselves. Anyway, so I hope that you're going to enjoy this video. Now, before we all go and make our way up there, can I please ask you, if you haven't done it already, to subscribe to my channel. And also, for this video, also, please click on the like button, which is the thumbs up button, which is in the top left-hand, sorry, the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, I think. And also, please make sure that you pass it on to anyone who you think might enjoy it. That would be absolutely fantastic. It'll help me to get this channel moving and all the rest of it. So yeah, please do that for me. That'd be fantastic. And also, please remember that all of this is free, all right? There's no charge to you. You don't have to pay for it. So it's completely free. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy the video that I've got for you today. And let's get on that Warren's Team Talk bus and head up all the way up to Liverpool and go and see what these guys have got to say for themselves. Anyway, so let's get on with it. And here we are. We've arrived at Goodison and we're in Merseyside, and we're going to go and see the people from Everton, see what they've got to say for themselves, and find out all about this great club that resides in Everton. It's known as the Toffee Men. So let's go and see what they've got to say. Right, so Everton, they managed to get 8,212 points, and they finished 5th in the Warren's Team Talk table. Now, as I said, Everton, or also known as the Toffees or the Toffee Men, were formed in 1878, and the club supporters are also known as Evertonians or the Blues. Now, the club are founding members of the Football League, and they have been based at Goodison Park since 1892, having moved from its original home at Anfield following a disagreement over its rent. Now, the club's home colours are royal blue shirts with white shorts and white socks. And they will be, apparently, they're going to be moving. I only knew about this the other day. They'll be moving to a new state-of-the-art stadium for the start of the 2024-25 season in a place called Bramley Moor Dock in Vauxhall, Liverpool, which I believe will have a capacity, the new stadium anyway, will have a capacity of 52,000 with a facility to extend it up to 60,000. So that's quite exciting news for the Evertonians, I guess. Anyway, Everton's most widely recognised nickname is, like I said, the Toffees or the Toffee Men, which came about after Everton had moved to Goodison. Now, it seems that the reason that they have this nickname is apparently because there was a toffee shop in Everton Village named Mother Noblets, which sold sweets including Everton mints. Now, the shop was also located opposite the Lock building, which is on the club's crest. Now, you've probably seen the club crest, and it's like, to me, it looks like a Oast House thing. It's like a tower with like a pointed roof on the top. Now, that is, it's known as the Lock building, and like I say, it's on the club crest. Now, I've no idea if this is true because I've never been to Goodison Park to watch a match, but apparently there's a woman who walks around the pitch before the start of matches who tosses free Everton mints into the crowd. So yeah, that's pretty amazing stuff. Be nice for the kids anyway. So Everton's first success came in the 1889-90 season when they finished second in the First Division Tier 1, when they finished 2 points behind the league champions that year, Preston North End. And then the next season, they went on to win their First Division Tier 1 title when they finished 2 points ahead of second place Preston North End. And they scored 63 league goals in just 22 games. Now, that was around the time as well that Preston had their unbeaten season. So the two clubs just looked like they just swapped positions from one season to the next. So anyway, so let's start by looking at the successes that Everton have enjoyed whilst playing in league football. The lowest tier, let's start with the lowest tier of English football that Everton have played in, which is the second tier, and then we can work our way up from there. And in fact, since Football League came into being, Everton have only played in the second tier of English football for 4 seasons. The rest of the time, they've been in the top tier, which is a total of 118 seasons. Now, when you factor in that there was no league football in this country during the Second World Wars, the Second and First World Wars, so that's 118 seasons. Now, in the second tier of English football, Everton had 1 second place finish and had been champions of the second division once. Their second place finish came in the 1953-54 season when they finished equal on points with second division champions Leicester City, but missed out on the title to Leicester, also known as the Foxes, by virtue of the fact that the Foxes had a superior goal average of 0.031 of a goal. However, they made up for this disappointment by winning promotion that season. They won, and they won promotion up to the First Division. Now, in the 1930-31 season, Everton won their only second division Tier 2 title when they finished 7 points clear of second place West Bromwich Albion. And that season, they managed to score 121 goals in 42 games, which was thanks in no small part to their legendary goal-scoring machine, Dixie Dean, who chipped in with 39 league goals that season. Okay, so moving on, let's move on and look at what they've managed to achieve in the first tier of English football. And in the first tier, Everton have achieved 8 fourth-place finishes in the First Division Tier 1 and 1 fourth-place finish in the FA Premier League. Now, if we look at this, we can see that they, in 1897-98, they finished 7 points behind league champions Sheffield United. In the 1890, and then the next season in 1898-99, they again finished 7 points behind the league champions, who that year were Aston Villa. And then again in the 1910-11 season, they again, for the third time, finished 7 points behind the league champions, who on that occasion were Manchester United. Then the next fourth place finish didn't occur for another 51 years, which was 1961-62 season, when they finished 5 points behind Ipswich Town. And then 3 years later, in 1964-65, they finished 12 points behind Manchester United. 10 years later, in the 1974-75 season, they finished 3 points behind the champions Derby County. And then in the 1978-79 season, they finished 17 points behind the champions and local rivals Liverpool. And again, 9 years later, 1987-88, they again finished behind local rivals Liverpool, who were league champions that year. And then in the 2004-2005 FA Premier League, Tier 1, they finished fourth with 34 points between them and the FA Premier League champions Chelsea. So, moving on. Everton's fourth place finish in the FA Premier League in 2004-2005, when they finished 34 points behind Premier League champions Chelsea, has also been to date Everton's highest ever finish in the FA Premier League. So, yeah, they haven't had any third place finishes or second place finishes or won the Premier League. So, I won't be talking anymore about their exploits in the Premier League because unfortunately they haven't finished high enough for that. So, moving on. Now, let's talk about their third place finishes. Now, in the First Division Tier 1, they've had 7 third place finishes. And they, hold on just a second. Yeah, so yeah, they've had 7 third place finishes in the Football League First Division Tier 1. In 1892-93, they finished 12 points behind Sunderland. 1895-96, they finished 6 points behind the champions Aston Villa. In 1903-1904, they finished 4 points behind Sheffield Wednesday. 1906-1907, they finished 6 points behind Newcastle United. In 1963-64, they finished 5 points behind Liverpool. 1968-69, they finished 10 points behind Leeds United. And then in 1977-78, they finished 9 points behind Nottingham Forest. So let's move on. So let's move on now and talk about their second place finishes. Now, they've had 7 of these in the Football League First Division Tier 1. In 1888-90, as we saw earlier, they finished 2 points behind Preston North End. And then 1894-95, they finished 5 points behind the champion Sunderland. 1901-1902, they finished 1 point, 1 point behind Sunderland again. And then 1904-1905, they finished 1 point behind Newcastle United. And then 1908-1909, they finished 7 points behind Newcastle United again. And 1911-1912, they finished 3 points behind the champions Blackburn Rovers. And then finally, in the 1985-86 season, they finished 2 points behind the champions Liverpool. Now, so for that, let's now look at their First Division Tier 1 title victories. Now, they've had 9 of these. They've won the Football League First Division Tier 1 on 9 occasions. This happened in the 1890-91 season when they finished 2 points above Preston North End. In the 1914-15 season, they finished 1 point ahead of Oldham Athletic. And all these teams I'm telling you who they finished ahead of are all teams that finished in second place. In the 1927-28 season, they finished 2 points behind, in front of second place Huddersfield Town. And the 1931-32 season, they finished 2 points ahead of second place Arsenal. The 1938-39 season, they finished 4 points ahead of second place Wolverhampton Wanderers. And 1962-63, they finished 6 points ahead of Tottenham Hotspur. And in 1969-70, they finished 9 points ahead of second place Leeds United. And then 1984-85 season, they finished 13 points ahead of second place Liverpool. And then in the 1986-87 season, they finished 9 points ahead of second place Liverpool again. Now, let's move on. Now, in the 1928, if you look at this, right, in the 1927-28 season, when Everton finished 2 points ahead of second place Huddersfield Town, Everton's legendary centre forward, Dixie Dean, scored 60 league goals, which amounted to over 58% of Everton's 102 league goals for the season. Now, to show you what an incredible feat this is, in the 1996-97 season, when Newcastle United finished second in the Premier League, their talismanic striker, Alan Shearer, scored 28 of their 73 league goals, which is 38.4% of Newcastle's total league goals for that season. And during Arsenal's invincible season, Thierry Henry scored 30 of Arsenal's 73 league goals for that season, which, when you work it out, is 41.1% of their league goals for the season. And then in the 1984-85 season, Everton won the double of the First Division Tier 1 title and the European Cup Winners' Cup. Now, here we are. Here's the great man himself, Dixie Dean, and it just shows obviously him and the fact that he managed to score 383 goals in 433 appearances. Now, I think you agree that is an incredible achievement. Well, I think it is anyway. So there you go. And he played for Everton between 1925 and 1938. Apparently, he's a local lad. He came, I think, from Birkenhead. So, yeah, fair play to him. So, bit of a legend, really, with Evertonians. So, let's move on. Now, what I've done here is to try and calculate what were Everton's best ever league performances. So in order to do this, I converted all the season's performances to 3 points for a win, and then used the points per game calculation to work out which was the best season, because of the varying amount of games played each season. For example, one season had 22 games, other seasons had 42, and others had 38. And then there was a period when 2 points for a win was awarded, and then after that, it changed to 3 points for a win are awarded. So by doing all that, I've come up with this. I chose 3 seasons, which was the 1969-70 season. I feel was the best one, when they got 66 points. The 1984-85 First Division season, when they got 90 points, and 1930-31 season in the Second Division, when they got 61 points, which was as well the season where Dixie Dean scored his 60 league goals for the season. So yeah, moving on. Now let's move on and look at Everton's domestic cup successes, and it's fair to say there's been a few of those as well. Now they've won 5 FA Cups. They've been runners-up in the FA Cup on 8 occasions. Unfortunately, they've never ever won the League Cup, but they've been runners-up in that tournament twice. They've had 8 Charity Shield wins. They've been runners-up twice, and they've shared the trophy on 1 occasion. So Everton have been runners-up in the League Cup twice. In 1976-77, they took Everton to 3 replays before they lost 3-2, finally at Old Trafford, in front of 54,000 people. And then in 1983-84, they played their local rivals Liverpool, and the game went to a replay where they lost 1-0 at Main Road in front of 52,000 people. Now, like I said, unfortunately, they've never won the Football League Cup. Now, the FA Cup, they've been runners-up on 8 occasions, which were in 1892-93. They lost by 1-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Fallowfield Stadium, which I believe is in Manchester, in front of 45,000 people. And yeah, we did speak about that match a few weeks ago when I looked at the Wolverhampton Wanderers story. Then in the 1896-97 season, they lost 3-2 to to Aston Villa at the Crystal Palace Stadium in front of just over 65,000 people. The 1906-07 season, they lost by 2-1, again at the Crystal Palace Stadium, to Sheffield Wednesday on that occasion, in front of a crowd of just under 85,000. Then in the 1967-68 season, they lost 1-0 after extra time at Wembley Stadium to West Bromwich Albion. Then in the 1984-85 season, they lost by 1-0 after extra time at Wembley Stadium in front of a capacity 100,000 crowd. In the 1985-86 season, they lost by 3-1 to Liverpool at Wembley Stadium, a game which I was actually at. I was fortunate enough, me and my 2 colleagues managed to get tickets for that match. One of them was an Evertonian, and we got tickets in the Liverpool end, which was quite entertaining. There were a few Evertonians in there, which was quite amusing. But yeah, I'll tell you more about that another time. But yeah, I got the tickets for that cup final from a colleague of mine who used to work at West Ham United, so that was really great. And then in the 1988-89 season, they lost 3-2 after extra time, again to Liverpool at Wembley Stadium. And then in that season, yeah, it was the season of the Hillsborough disaster. And I remember that the fencing was taken down at Wembley Stadium for that match, and rightly so. So big respect to the 96. Yeah, God bless them. Now, moving on, in 2008-2009, they lost 2-1 to Chelsea at Wembley Stadium in front of a crowd of just over 89,000. Then they're FA Cup wins. So now they've won the FA Cup on 5 occasions. In 1905, 1906, when they defeated Newcastle 1-0 at the Crystal Palace Stadium in front of just over 75,000 people. In the 1932-33 season, when they defeated Manchester City 3-0 at Wembley Stadium and Dixie Dean managed to get himself on the score sheets that day, so no surprises there, I guess. The 1965-66 season saw them defeat Sheffield Wednesday 3-2 at Wembley Stadium in front of a capacity 100,000 crowd. And then 1983-84 season, they beat Watford 2-0 at Wembley Stadium in front of a full house. And then in the 1994-95 season, again, they beat Manchester United 1-0 in front of a crowd of just under 80,000. Now, the FA Charity Shield. Now, they've been runners-up in this twice. In 1933, they lost 3-0 to Arsenal at Goodison Park. In 1966, they lost 1-0 again at Goodison Park to Liverpool. Now, they shared the trophy on one occasion, which happened in 1986 when they drew 1-1 with Liverpool at Wembley Stadium. And then they've won the Charity Shield on 8 occasions. The first one of these was in 1928 when they beat Blackburn Rovers 2-1 at Old Trafford. Then in 1932, they won 5 goals to 3. They won by 5 goals to 3 against Newcastle United at Newcastle's St James's Park ground. Then in 1963, they defeated Manchester United 4-0 at Goodison Park. In 1970, they beat Chelsea by 2 goals to 1 at Stamford Bridge. In 1984, they beat Liverpool by 1 goal to 0 at Wembley. In 1985, they beat Manchester United by 2 goals to 0 at Wembley Stadium. Then in 1987, they defeated Coventry City by 1 goal to 0 at Wembley Stadium. And then in 1995, they beat Blackburn Rovers by 1 goal to 0 again at Wembley Stadium. And then the European success, the only European trophy that Everton have won came in the 1985 season when they defeated Rapid Vienna of Austria by 3 goals to 1 at the Rotterdam Stadium in Feyenoord. They've never won the Champions League or European Cup, and they've never won the UEFA Cup or Europa League at all. Just one thing to say about that Rapid Vienna match. No, I think I'll leave that for another time. Anyway, so moving on. Now, Everton's other notable achievements. Everton have competed in the top division for a record 118 seasons since the Football League's creation, having missed only 4 top-flight seasons, which were in the 1930-31 season, the 1950-52 season, 1952-53 season, and 1953-54 season. Everton is the second longest continuous serving club in English top-flight football, behind Arsenal. Dixie Dean is the only player in English football to score 60 league goals in one season, which he achieved whilst playing for Everton. Everton are one of a small exclusive club of teams who have been promoted from the second tier of English football as champions and then gone on to win the Tier 1 title in their first season in the top tier, which they did in the 1930-31 season and the 1931-32 season. And then in the 1984-85 season, 1984-85 season, Everton won the double of the First Division Tier 1 title and the European Cup Winners' Cup. So yeah. Now, I managed to find this greatest ever Everton 11 on a website called worldsoccertalk.com by a chap by the name of Matt Jones. Now, it's quite interesting because it seems as well that Everton did a vote of their supporters for the start of the 2003-2004 season, I think it was, which was part of their 125th anniversary celebrations, and that team that they produced is exactly the same as this one that I've got here. Now, I'll be quite interested to see what you think about this team. I'm going to go through it now, and then I'm going to have a bit more to say about it. So this guy and the Everton supporters went for Neville Southall in goal, a centre-back pairing of Kevin Ratcliffe and Brian LeBone, left-back of Ray Wilson, right-back of Gary Stevens, centre midfield pairing of Peter Reid and Alan Ball, and left midfield Kevin Sheedy, and on right midfield Trevor Stephen, and then up front Graham Sharp and Dixie Dean. Now, what do you think about that team? Do you have any thoughts about it? If you do, please put your comments about this team or your all-time Everton 11s in the comment section of the video. I'll be delighted to see what you think. Please do that for me. Personally, I can think of a couple of players who will be pushing for a place in that team. For example, Bob Latchford, Wayne Rooney, and then obviously Duncan Ferguson. Not just because of his cult-like status with Evertonians, as much as anything else, really, because I'm not sure he was that prolific as a striker, but he was certainly a cult hero with Evertonians, that's for sure. So yeah, just let me know what you think. And then we have the great man himself again, Dixie Dean, in action for Everton. So yeah, there you go. Well, sadly, everyone, that's it for the end of today's show. I hope you enjoyed our little visit to Merseyside and our chat with the people from Everton, and that you enjoyed the show and found it interesting and informative. Now, as I said in the video, please, if you've got any greatest ever Everton teams that you'd like to share with us, please put it in the comment section of the video. Or if you've got any interesting stories about Everton Football Club or any comments that you'd like to make as well, please put them in the comment section of the video. That would be fantastic. I'd love to hear all your stories and insights about these football clubs. But anyway, please, before you go, if you haven't already done so, like I said before, please put a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel. And please pass it on to as many people as you possibly can. Even one person, that'd be fantastic. And remember, again, it's free of charge. You don't have to pay. Now, also, but more importantly than any of that, please remember to look after each other. Please remember to keep talking, and please remember to share some love and happiness around the world. That'd be brilliant. Also, just so you know, I'll be back again on Saturday with the next episode for you. But until then, I hope you manage to stay safe and look after yourselves and have a great time. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. All right, take care. Bye, everyone. I love you. Take care. Bye.